Hi there, friends. I'll just give it a minute for the streaming to catch up to me talking because we are going live. Oop, sorry, and I knew I had my computer volume on, which I don't normally have. But hello, hi there, friends. Tonight is the next part of the series for the Art Journaling Mixed Media Let's Just Do the Things series, and tonight we're going to focus on circles, and this is my favorite. This is, well, one of my favorites. I love circles. Everything, if it's my favorite shape. So although I loved the lines, I loved the line work, and I saw a lot of you guys were playing along, right? My butterflies on for you tonight, guys. Thank you. Looks like some of my favorite papers, because if you know me, you know I love the butterflies. So hello, how we doing? Happy Wednesday night, or whenever you're watching this. I'm going live on Wednesday night for the circles portion of the series, but you know, you could be watching this at any point because it's on the YouTubes and it'll be here until my channel's not. So hope you guys are going to play along. I know when we're in the middle of the week that sometimes it's harder, right? Because you have to get up and go to work, or you might not even be home from work yet. You might be sneaking in a little YouTube. And if you're on a different time zone, you might not even be home yet. But I hope at some point you get a chance to do this one. The work that you did with the lines was fabulous. I think that I love all of it. I haven't had a chance to go and comment. I will do that. I've been working on class stuff because I have an event coming up and I needed to get class samples done and all the things. So tonight it's circles, and I love circles. So who's going to be playing along? I'm very excited to see. Oh, good for you. Irene won $75 at BINGO. Bingo. Good for you, friend. And thanks for popping in to say hello. So I worked on some stuff in my book. I did some stuff with distress ink. I'll share that when I flip the camera around. I didn't do any more line work yet, but I've set my pages in a row, like all in order. So I have spots I can go back and play, which I'm excited about. Tonight, I have lots of ideas, and we're just going to just see how far we can get and what we can do for homework. You've collected a bunch of different circles already for tonight. I love it, because you could use a cup, and you could do, I'm freehanding everything tonight, because I'm just going for it. Just going to give her tonight, right? So I have a bunch of different ideas, and we'll see what we can get done. Like I said, this is just about grabbing a piece of paper, your creative toolbox, and just doing the things in any form or fashion that you want to do. I just hope that you do this for yourself, because I think it's really important that you stretch and work your creative muscle, right? So that means doing things that are sometimes outside of your comfort zone, or not in your wheelhouse, or not something you normally would do. That's when I think it's important to try the things. And with that being said, try it multiple times, because the learning comes from repetition. So super fun to see you guys here tonight. Hello, Lael. Hi, Kari. Hi, Sarah. How are you? I work in maintenance department at work, so I missed that. So I brought a suction cup home to use for a circle. I love that. I love that. Because you can use something that will create your circles. There's only one thing I'm going to use tonight that I'm kind of excited to do this. And we'll see. It could be a hot mess or really fun. And I think that, right, is so much fun, right? It could be a hot mess or really fun. And I'm going to use a clean blending dome foam with my ink blending tool. So I have a couple of them, and I'm just going to clean it. And I want to pounce little acrylic paint dots. So I think that could be really fun, and it will be kind of in an abstract kind of thing. I have a smaller page for that. We could do watercolor layers. We could do concentric circles. We're going to do a page of circles. Mine are going to be very random and loose, but I think one of the fun things, just like with doing the line work, is doing circles that are in a row. Can be really fun. So whatever you want to do, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So I'm going to flip the camera. I'm going to Blair Witch you for a sec. And I have my jerry rig for my mic. Again, girl in the basement, just trying to do the things. So I want to get right into it because we have lots to do and it's Wednesday. So I know for some of you, right, it's like, get to it, Vicky, because I have to get up early in the morning. So let's do the things. So I'm just happy if you're joining me. It's often quieter on the Wednesday nights, right? Because not everybody can get here when they have work the next day. So I'm going to flip and you get to see the disaster that is my room. I don't know who else is with me on that, but oh my goodness, I've been working on like multiple projects. So it has been a little bit chaotic around here. So let me see. Like I said, I jerry-rigged my mic and charger. We'll see. It all could just fall down. We'll see what happens. But I went with an elastic tonight, so we'll see what happens, right? There we go. It might stay. It might not. We'll figure it out. So let's see. I can see everything on the camera. Yes. Okay. So my ideas, look at, I sketched my ideas out tonight because I thought that that would be fun, right? To kind of have a little plan. Hello, Jen Shirkus. How are you? You are so brave to flash us like that. I would be afraid my room is such a mess. It is a mess. And you know what? I don't, it's, if people are looking for perfection, this is the wrong page because I am very much a hot mess most of the time, but hopefully that's why people hang out with me because they feel like, oh, good. Somebody just like me. Vicky's a hot mess. So let's look at where we have been and where we're going. So we're going to take a flip through. Remember when we started this, we did some swatching. Well, I re-swatched this page because I said I wanted to do that. I wanted to get it because sometimes when you're doing it, right, just randomly, especially when you're doing it live, sometimes the things don't turn out exactly like I wanted them to. So I went back and swatched again. So I got all of my oxides and my distress. This is the color palette I'm using for this project. So I redid them. And now I have where I'm going to do the blending again on these pages here. And I forgot how to spell oxide, so I was really excited about that. So then we have our watercolors that we swatched, and then did some painting, and then my acrylic dry brush, wet brush on black. All these pages are open for opportunity. I'll come back and revisit. The pens I'm using, pens on the mediums that I'm using. I came back and did the one technique we had done in watercolor or in distress ink. I really love how this has turned out. It's not finished, but isn't it fun? Because remember, we had done the different ones in acrylic and watercolor. Well, I did one in distress. So I love how this turned out. So this was the same technique, but using distress ink. And then I did color lifting with this piece on top. I just went in with clean water and let the water drip through the ink that was already deposited. And then went on top with a Posca pen. It's not finished, but I did come back and work for a little bit. So I love how that turned out. And then these, I think, were a hit. The kind of abstract art that we did with the acrylic paint, and then the art marking, mark making, watercolor. I have two opportunities here that I'm going to do some more of that. These were ones I had done on my own, just playing around. So a little bit more. And then, oh, this was last week, right? Hello, Valerie Wagner. I was thinking about you today. Hello, friends. So this was the line work that we did last week, right? I love this. I will revisit this and do more of it. I have to say that this made me really excited. Yeah, this is right up your alley, Jen. It reminds me of like mermaids, right? Mermaids. I love it. And the acrylic one that I came back and did a little bit of work on. And I will come in and do something here. And then the watercolor with the little bubbles on it. So I love that. So now we are going to do our circles. So I am going to build on the back of this page. And I am going to grab another page because I like the idea of prepping and working on 2 at a time. And then let's see where it goes. I was working on scrapbook pages today. I'm going to do a half page too. Look at that one's a smaller one. So this is foundations paper and this is watercolor paper, cold press. So it has texture on it. So we're going to do that. So who's playing along tonight? So this one, the watercolor one, we could do the watercolor layers. This one we could do the acrylic paint. I am not going to, I'm going to tape it down just so it stays flat on my page, but I'm not putting a frame around it, this one, because I don't think I need it for this one. I don't need to mask the edges. So how's your week gone so far? I feel like you're going to have to just kind of go along with it tonight. I feel like my brain is only partially here. Do you ever feel like that? Yeah, Jen had her event this past week, right? And were you there, Jennifer? I know that my friend Kari was there. Who else? Was anybody else at Jen Shirkus's Crop on the Cape? Yeah, well, and you were at an event, and that often happens, right? Brain fog from teaching. But yes, I don't know. I don't know if it's just age or whatever, but I feel a little brain foggy today. So I apologize ahead of time if I don't make sense. I'm just giving you clear warning right now that I'm having a little brain fog. I'm having a little brain fog. So one of the fun things we could do in circle form is layering watercolor paper or watercolor paint. We could also just do painted rings, which I think is kind of what I feel like doing is the painted rings. And then I'm going to mix my color palette tonight, but only using what we have, right? Because that's my thing. I only want to use what I have. The other thing that I want to do is I saw this somewhere on Pinterest or something, these little circles that look like mixed acrylic, and I'm like, that's kind of fun. I wonder how I could achieve that. And then I thought, well, if I use an ink blending tool and we just pounce it into the paint and then pounce it, that could just be a fun repeated pattern. So we could probably get 1, 2, 3 across and then down. So that might be fun too. We could start that. Now, can you mix colors? You sure can. Remember one of the ones I said that was an add-on to my palette was a fluorescent pink. I might throw some rose fluo for fluorescent in there too, because I love fluorescent. So I'm going to put some of that down. I'm going to put my cadmium yellow down. And for sure some orange. So the cadmium red light hue. Just going to see what we get. I'm going to start with that. So what I was thinking is, do I make my circle and pounce into it? Might be the best option, right? So I might take some of that yellow and put it here. I'm not even going to clean the brush. I'm just going to pick it up, put some of that hot pink here. Maybe I should clean the brush. And pick up some of the orange and put it here. And then let's see what we get. This, here's the whole thing. It's just a piece of paper in our time. It could be really pretty and it could be totally ugly. And I'm totally okay with that, right? So I'm going to press into my little circle. Oh, I'm kind of excited about that. Look at that. And then let's just press it down in a little twist. Oh, that's kind of fun. And we could totally art mark around that too, couldn't we? So I don't know if I want to put them. Oh, digging it. Let's add some more. I'm going to just tap my little thing right into it. Like I said, could be pretty, it could be a mess, but it's kind of fun to just figure it out, because then we can go in and we could art mark on these as well, right? It's a piece of paper, my time. Are they coming out completely like circles? No, but could I pounce on there again? Sure could. Sure could. So I'm going to mix this one a little bit now, not necessarily put the paint in the same spot. Let's see what we get. Oh, look at that. I love that. Might go over some of them again. And giving it a little twist. Kind of digging that. These aren't going to be perfectly lined up either. I'm going to put way more pink on this one. Love it. It's really fun. I'm going to try to cover up some of my orange because I really want... Fluorescent pink is one of my favorite colors to make art with. So now I'm going to go in with another blending foam. I'm going to clean this one easy peasy, just with some water. They do look like kind of like beach balls or gum balls, right? And that's kind of the magic of just painting with circles. Could be lots of different things. So I'm just getting some of that pigment out. Of my blending foam, just by wetting it. And don't forget, when I'm doing this live, if I was doing this on my own, I probably would do it, like take a little bit more time. But I feel a little bit of pressure, right, when you're live, is I don't want you guys to sit and wait for me while I'm trying to make up my mind with what I want to do. So just know you don't have that pressure. I don't want you to feel you have that pressure at home. So sometimes when you're watching this, you could come back and do it on your own, and it could look way better than what I did initially because I feel a little bit of pressure. I'm going to go full pink because then I could layer another color after, right? So I want some full fluorescent pink in here. And then I could always come back and add another color on it top. Now, using the blending foam, what's nice is you don't have to worry about painting a perfect circle, right? Question, can you reuse that dome foam again? As long as you clean it before the paint dries. Sure you could, right? I would just clean it before the paint dries. Let's add, I want some navy in here, so let's go in with our Prussian blue. Here's a question too. Do you think we could paint if I only want that in a certain section? Why couldn't I go in here and put it right on my blending foam? Like maybe I want to put some of this in or on those existing pink ones. Why can't I do this? Let's see what happens. And deposit my color and see what I get now. Pressing it on there. I love that. I love that. So you totally could go give it a little mist. That'll just extend it, right? Don't spray it all over your dry paper though, like I just did. And let's put one down here. I am kind of digging that. Why can't I put one on here if I want to? This is really coming together. So this is navy blue, but let's do one without, like on a new section too. Oh, I'm totally digging that. Maybe here. Look at that color. I'm not going to clean it. I'm going to keep applying. Let's paint the color on, right? I love it. Let's put a little bit of the turquoise. Painting it onto the blending foam is actually a good way, especially if you have control issues, right? If you really want it to go in a certain spot, why can't you deposit it onto your blending foam and paint it on there? Your little abstract art. I'm going to put some yellow on there too. So, you know, I'm always going to be honest with you. The first one I put down, I'm like, well, that's not really what I wanted. It's not exactly what I had in my mind. But what I love is by not quitting and just keep doing the things, is sometimes a better solution comes as you play, which kind of did there. Let's try it. Let's see, what are we going to get here now? Boop. Let's try it here. I love it so much. I love that so much. Okay. Maybe one here. I'm turning my blending tool as well. And how about one right here? Friends, how fun is this? How fun is this? So we could go and take some of that yellow, if we wanted, some of the turquoise, and let's make some green. And let's put some green. I'm going to clean this. Let's start fresh. So again, just going to add some water. And I'm going to pounce some of that off. With it being acrylic paint, it's right in there, right? These are like, I would call my little piece of art gumball. It just reminds me of gumball or marbles. It's kind of like marbles, isn't it? Question: can you swirl the sponge? Well, yes, you can. I did it a little bit. Let's try it. I'll do it on my next one, okay? Because it's a piece of paper, my time. I'm all right if it doesn't. Oh, I love what that looks like. Let's put some of that green on here now. So I'm going to put it where that dark is. And what are we going to fill it with? How about some yellow? Because I don't have a lot of yellow on here. Yeah, it's just my paper towel. I'm just wiping it off on my paper towel. And because I want to go in yellow, I need to make sure that brush is clean. Let's fill in some yellow in with our green. And maybe a little bit more of the orange. You're just watching and relaxing tonight? Totally get it. It is not uncommon on our Wednesday nights. Okay, there is my green one. Let's see what we get. So you want me to put it down and give it a twist. Let's try it. And twist. Look it. It totally worked. Let's do it again. Turning it a different direction so the first application is going to be different, and twist. And here's the last one. Twist. Totally digging it. Now this guy needs something, right? And I think I'm going to put something else on these ones. Maybe a little bit of orange in there too. Hello, Pamela. How are you? This makes me happy too. I'm glad we're doing this. This foam is very dirty now. So I'm going to make mud if I go in on that pink one. So I'm just going to put a new foam on. So could you wash it? You sure could. I'm just going to throw it right in the water for now. Putting a virgin foam on. It's just dyed. Because remember, I'm the crazy lady who just washes my blending foams. So what do you feel? Like, I don't know. I need to add, I want something in here on these ones. I'm going to put a little bit, I think, of, because we can only use, what if we could go back in with white. You could go back in with white to look like part of the page is showing through. But I don't feel like I want to go in with white. I think I want a little orange on some of these. I'm going to go in with orange. So I have to clean my brush. Hi, Ada. How are you? So I'm going to put just like kind of like a pie. Like that. And I'm going to press some of that on here. And maybe on, which one? Let's do it on this one. I like it. Let's put a little bit more. Little water. Boop. Because that one does not look like it's very circular. And then here, let's throw some on here. A little twister. I love this page. Gumballs. So we'll let this dry. Could we come in art mark this? We totally could. That is really fun though, isn't it? What else does it look like? Maybe those like little rubber balls that we play with as a kid, you know? The little rubber ball. Marbles. But I absolutely love this. And like I said, I could come back and do, what's nice too, it's almost dry because there was so little paint on that. And if I let these dry, I could come in and put some more of the turquoise on top. I might try to do that right now if I can. Just a little bit of turquoise. Felt balls, yeah, it could be that too, right, Diane? I would wear it. I would wear it. Yeah, you know, when you put your quarter in the machine. Whoop. And I probably just got navy on the back of my page. Because I'm crazy like that. I just want a little bit more turquoise on there. Because this one almost looks black. So I'm just going to put a little bit more turquoise, but got to get the orange off because if I want it to be clean and I put turquoise and orange, I'm going to make a little bit of a muddier color and I don't really want to do that. Pom-poms, yes! Connie, totally could be pom-poms, right? Okay, where do I want that little bit of turquoise? Kind of in the center. So we'll just pounce a little bit there. Oh, I love it. Maybe a little here too. Do 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 do. It is my favorite color, so I love it. Now, stepping away. Look how pretty these are, though. This is the kind of art I would do. I would do a big page of these and be more intentional with my placement, but I would totally frame that. Right? It does. That's so 80s with the pink and turquoise, right? With that little bit of, it is like little planets. Very fun. I'm very happy with that one. Look at that right out of the chute. And I'm excited. That was fun and easy. Great warm up, right? That was a great warm up. So let's, do I go because my, let's just keep going with the, I'm going to move this. Let's keep going with the acrylic because the acrylic is on the page. So I'm going to grab another sheet of foundations. This one, the holes aren't punched because I just cut it, but I'm going to use this. And I am going to do a very abstract circle pattern. I'm going to start with a dark blue. We might want some white tonight. I got to keep my little paint boogers. I love them. I want to do some whole thing just with the paint boogers. Let's put some white down. This is going to be very loose. We're going to get loose. Are you ready to get loose? So I want a bigger paintbrush for this. Let's make some more of our green because this is my palette. But what's nice is, doesn't mean I can't mix the colors in my palette. And I still might go with some fluorescent tonight. And I will put my rose as well down. So we have two pink options. And let's put some more orange. It was fun. I love that. That really turned out. What else did I need? I wanted to make more green, right? So let's fill up my turquoise a little bit. So do you guys use a lot of acrylic paint? Because I know that it's not something a lot of people use, not necessarily, right? You might use, especially if you love your distress, you just stick with your distress paints. Question: where do you keep your paint boogers? Just in a cup? Hello, Serenity. In a cup. Little paint boogers, right? I love them. Okay, put some more. I'm going to just commit. I might have to go in with this greeny color first because it's pretty thin on my palette and it's going to dry quickly. So let's change paintbrushes, and I'm going to do very loose circles. Circles. Okay? With acrylic paint. Let's see. Ooh, I'm nervous. Let me keep my round brush to blend. Yeah, I love acrylic as well. We save the drips from the paint pouring the same way, right? It's so fun. Yeah, I love that. Okay, here we go. You use your distress paint for your 30 days. I love that. Yep, I get that. Okay, my page is stuck here, so I want to move that again. So I'm going to go with the green, and like I said, I'm just going to do circles. Just kind of loose layer the paint circles. So what brush do we want to go in with? I might go in with this big one. 3/4 brush. I'm going to wet it a bit because I feel if I go too dry, my paint is going to kind of get stuck. So let's see. Now this is one of those ones, might be worthwhile to change your page direction too. So we're going to go loose because we could come back in here after and we could add some art marks too, right? Okay, I'm going to go in with my navy. I'm not even going to clean my brush. This could be one of those ones, do you love it? Do you hate it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Could love it, could hate it. It's hard when your page is kind of small too. And really, I'm going to tell you, a flat brush, probably not ideal. If I had let's go in with this one. This is really more for my watercolor, but as long as I clean it, we'll be fine. Let's try with the mop brush. Okay, got to get all that pigment out of here now to go in with a different color. Now, if you go wet on wet, you got to watch with your color mixing, because you could make mud, right? So now I'm going in with, this one is a 12. Okay, if I put my yellow right on top now, I should be okay because it's on blue and green, right? But I want to break that up a bit. I also am going to turn the direction of my page because it's easier than trying to turn the direction of my arm. What if we take some of that yellow and mix it with this green for more of a limey green too? This is a good juicy brush, so it is really holding the pigment. I'm going in with that fluorescent. Ooh, I love it so much. That color is so vibrant, it almost hurts the eyes. And if I want to build the depth, I will wait for that to dry and I can come and add some more on there after. But this on the blue should make a little bit of purple too. I'm making some good mud in my watercolor, or my water containers. Okay, what do I want to go in with now? I'm going to brighten up my turquoise a bit. So move your page, right? Because you can't make your arm do crazy things, so... and I can get clean water. And the other thing that I can do is I can go back in with white anywhere I want to, right? So if there's anything you don't really love, there's no reason you couldn't go in with a little bit of white and do that as well, which I might come back in with some white. I'm going to put some orange in that middle part. And I'll tell you, like, sometimes you're doing these, right? And maybe they're not turning out, like I said, exactly like what you have pictured in your head. Like this little dirtier than what I would normally do. But I won't quit. Because I can, like I said, I can always come back in with white once the paint dries. And I can break some of that up. Right? But I'm not going to do it while the paint is wet. Because I'm just going to pick all that pigment up. And the other thing is, I'm going to have to change my water because it's mud. It's mud. All my navy's gone. I'm going to go back in. With my indigo. Ooh, look what I just did. That was paint. I thought it was just a little flake, but it was not. Sometimes we love it, sometimes we don't, but that is where my art marking and coming back in later with, I'm going to put some of that dark up here too, coming back in after with some white, I'll be able to break it up. Do you watch some of it out there too? Because I know sometimes some of you guys are probably watching going, oh my gosh, that's a hot mess. What is she doing? Especially if doing art journaling, mixed media is not your jam. For some of you would look at this and probably go, that is a hot mess. I even look at this and go, right now, it's a hot mess. But I won't quit. I'll let it dry, and I'm going to come back and revisit this. Because I feel like once the paint dries, I can define some of this area, like right in here. I'm going to brighten that up. But if I lay it right now on top of wet, I'm not going to get, right? I'm not going to get what I want. But now, because I put that in there, I'm going to put some turquoise down here. Because it was fun. It was fun, but right now, holy crap, that's a hot mess. The vortex of happiness or something else, right? The vortex of, oh my goodness, Vicky, what are you making? But I won't quit. So I always look at it like sometimes you step away and I'll come back and revisit it because I'm going to add white back on here too. Like I think once it dries that I can go in here and break some of these areas up with white will be fun. because right here, you know, this is too muddy for me. I will want to bring that pink to the top. And I might need to revisit brushes too, right? What brush do I want to use? But I think to get the vibrancy of the pink that I want, I'm going to have to put a layer of white down. Because I don't think this is opaque enough to cover that up. Oh, I like that already. But I'm picking up some of the pigment because it's not dry. And feeding that back to itself. Oh, I like that already. Right there, what I'm working on. Okay, I'm going to revisit this one, okay? I have to change my water. I see right now a hot mess, but I know that it has potential. It has potential. I just have to let it dry. That one, oh my goodness. Are you interested to see what I possibly could turn this into? Don't lie, because right now it's a little bit ugly. But I think it has potential when I can go in here with my paint markers and with some white, and that I can bring some of the, it's a hot mess right now, right? So I love the challenge. I love the challenge because I will let that acrylic dry, and then I'm going to revisit it with white and a different paintbrush. Because if I go on white right now, flashback, right now it's a flashback to, oh my goodness, this is kind of totally gross, but I love it. It could end up being where sometimes they are totally gross. Have you done anything, if you've been playing along in this series, that you look at it and go, well, that didn't turn out how I wanted? So some things it's totally okay to trash too. You could die cut it, right? Or it could go in the garbage, and that's all right. But white paint markers and going back in with white will be good. I'll do something with it. I like the challenge, you know I do, Lil, but right now, this is not what I wanted. And it's okay to say it. This isn't what I wanted. But I feel like there's opportunity. It's opportunity to come back in, because right now I'm looking going, oh my goodness. What a bunch of cockapoo-poo. Okay, let's see. So I'm feeding this right into this area that I do not like so much right here. There might not be any saving this. But doesn't make me mad. Never makes me mad, because I look at it and go, I would not know if I didn't do these things. I couldn't learn if I didn't try some of these things, right? Well, the white is certainly quieting it, the noise. See, I didn't like all the circles were kind of concentric. So if I go in here and break that up a bit, that might give me opportunity to do something else. I like that better already. Yours is looking like a Florida hurricane. I love it. So I'm going to put that white with the dry brush marks in it, in here. And then that gives me opportunity to come and layer some more color if I want to after. But I like that better already. But I do feel like this is a piece that will serve me best to walk away from it. Just gonna brush out some of those brush marks there and see what I can come back and add. And I want you back. That's what song's in my head tonight. I'm going to leave that for now. It reminds you of an LSD trip. But I feel like just adding that layer on here, I'm liking it better than I did before. Bringing the white in, and now gives me opportunity for some art marking on here. I laugh because my friend Lael is out here and she is not into the paint and stuff. So I'm sure she's looking at this going, oh my gosh, Vicky, what was that all about? That one was craziness. But I love that now. Okay, I'm going to clean my water and we're going to go to our watercolor. I really hope when you guys do these though that like, will I revisit this if I don't like how it turned out? I most certainly will. I like that better now. I have to say that I like this better, breaking all that up, breaking that all that up, breaking that all that up. English, it's not my friend tonight. And then let's see what we can come back and do, because I might revisit depositing some color on top of that again. But my water's all dirty, so it makes it kind of hard, right? Love the first one. Love the first one. A little easier to control, right? Well, I can come back with stencils after, right? You could stencil on top of it. But there's no reason now, right, by adding the white, that you could come back in with yellow. Look at that. Totally digging that. And just brushing it on top of my white. Yep, I will come back. I see potential. I see potential because I could get in here with some gold. I could art mark on that. Yep, I'll come back. Gotta clean my water, okay, friends? I don't hate that now. Look it, and if you go back in with some of that hot pink in there, I just don't have any clean water, so it's kind of hard for me to add the brighter colors. Right? Yeah. Because when this dries, you could go in, right, with totally with a black paint marker, and you could do different patterns. You could art mark on it, right? Do some art marking in some of these areas, right, with your turquoise now. A smaller one of these, yes. So I could go in and just do some different little art marks. Love it. It looks like a giant eyeball. Look at like some kind of zombie eyeball. Some zombie eyeball. Well, you can't quit. Because like I will come, like I feel like this one just needs a little bit of work. Just needs a little bit of work. But there's something to be said for that. And I'll come back, I think, with white again. Because I do think that just breaking some of that up again could be really fun. It almost looks like a parrot eye. So I'm going to leave that. And then I'm going to come back when it dries and see what I can add. Just got to get that gob of paint off there. I'm excited. It reminds me of a parrot's eye. So I'm going to leave it, or a lizard eye, right? I gotta change this water because I can't go to watercolor now. Look at that mess. So give me 1 sec. I'm going to wipe all that paint up. I'm done with the acrylic for tonight. I'm going to revisit that. So things I learned. Water, like how much water is in that could really affect it. How dry your brush is compared to how wet your brush is. Just give me 1 sec. Woo-wee, that's a mess. patience with my crazy eyeball. I don't hate it now. I did. I did hate it initially, right? I needed the clean water because I'm going into watercolors, so I don't really want to mix my acrylic with my watercolors. Okay, so brushes are ready, so I have all those options. Let's do a quick wipe. Dry first. Right, we'll clean that up with dry. Boop. And then, oh, look at that yumminess. I love being an artist. It's messy and fabulous. So let's get rid of that somewhere. Metro bag, boop. And we'll wipe that off. It's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun one to finish. I'll come back. I'm going to do some different things. This, though, oh my goodness. For some of you who don't like to get messy, this could put you over the edge, right? Especially when you have the indigo, because it's all on my fingernails and stuff. But I like to clean the majority of it up with a dry wipe first, because as soon as you add the water, right, you start to reconstitute all that paint. But let's get back into our watercolor now. So I want to revisit two things for my watercolor now. So I'm going to put down 2 pieces of watercolor. I'm just going to do a good exercise. And a lot of these in your art journal and your meditation journal, your journal for your mental health, your art journal for fun, whatever you are doing, whatever reason or whatever art you want to make, is sometimes things that are just like exercises. So when you want to sit down and you want to work in your art journal, but you're like, I don't have a clue what to do. That's when basic shapes like the lines, circles, squares, in repeats, where it could be very loose, where they don't line up, but then you could repeat, where you do the circles all in a row. These are great exercises, especially just when you're just trying to improve your watercolor techniques, your acrylic techniques. If you could be painting with your distress ink pad if you want to. If that's all you have, you totally could use that. Your gelatos, whatever you want to use, right? So just doing plain circles can be something that I think is perfect for just an exercise, right? Okay, so this is the 2 that we've done so far, right? The crazy zombie parrot eye and my circles, which I kind of dig in. Well, you know I love this one. You know I love this one. This one totally needs to dry. Reminds me of the spin art. Yes, kind of, right? Spin art. But we'll make it. I'm going to make it into something. I'll make it into something right now. Woo! Woo! I don't know. It's kind of cock-a-poo-poo, right? So let's put down our, how was this? Boop, turn. No, ooh, that was close, because it goes in my book like that. So this one's going to go on this side. And let's pick which paper. I'm going to do another watercolor. I'm going to grab another watercolor paper. I'm going to do this fun one, because I left the binding edge on the side, okay? You love the parrot eye? I think you're just being nice to me, Connie. I think you're just being nice to me, because I'm sure a lot of people who might be new might be looking at it and going, oh my goodness, Vicki, that was a hot mess. I am using discs to bind it. just for fun, because this literally is just a practice and play. I have like 20 art journals, but for this one, I just found it was easier for me to just do it as loose pages. But I can certainly go and add that later to my disc, and I'm going to make a cover out of it. Okay, I just want to put some water on that blending foam in case I ever want to do something with it again. Not that I really care. I can just throw it away and it will be fine too. Okay, so let's get rid of our acrylics and let's play with some. What color palette are you guys doing? Are you doing a cool one, a warm one, a rainbow one? What is your kind of jam tonight? Who's playing along? Anybody? Anybody? So I want my mop brush and my number 8 and possibly this guy too. My creative toolbox is not looking very tidy. Anybody finding that as you start playing? That your toolbox is a little messy? How many colors do we need for this one? Whatever you want to do, Jessie. That's why I'm talking to you guys now. I'm like, what should I do? Should I do a cool? Maybe I'll just do blues and greens again. Or just blues. How about blue and purple? Might just do blue and purple on this one. So this one is going to be, I'm just going to do watercolor circles. And we're going to fill it in and just add some paint. So this is just kind of a little watercolor warm-up. I'm going to put down my Prussian blue. Just a little bit more. I don't think there's much in that palette. I made purple here. But we'll put that, I'm just going to put some colors down too, okay? Maybe pink. Maybe that's what I'm going to do, pink and blue. I'm going to do pink and blue on this one. That's what I feel like. Pinks and blues. So some turquoise. Turquoise, rose, Prussian blue. You're using the Cosmic watercolor. I love that. So that's what I'm going to do on this one, because then it'll be purple. It's going to be purples, blues, and pink. Okay? And I am just going to paint watercolor rings. And then we could let the paint bleed into some of the rings. I'm going to start pink at the top. Okay, so I'm going to take some of that rose. And I am just going to paint a circle. I'm not going to load my brush. I'm going to just paint another one. So like I said, mine is going to be very loose. I'm not doing it in a row. I just want to paint loose watercolor circles. I can throw a little bit more pigment in there. Float that in. So I'm going to do another pink circle. And maybe I'll touch some blue into that one now. Or do we just stay, maybe we stay on the top one just really close to the pinks on the top, right? So just float some more pigment in there. Right, so you can just do more of a color wash. The next one, again, no color. I'm not loading my brush with any more pigment. Why don't we see too how far we can go with that pink with not loading the brush again. So I'm going to start one circle here. And then let that one bleed into it. See that, friends? So I didn't let it touch initially, right? And then you could just let some of that pigment bleed down in, wick it in. Because now this row, I'm going to start adding some blue in there too. That circle's a little wonk, isn't it? Okay. Vic, do you have a personal preference when it comes to what medium you work with, watercolor versus acrylic? Probably watercolor, I would say. Well, acrylic for gel plate printing, 100% is my go-to, but I love the kind of like ethereal look of watercolor. So it probably would be my go-to, would be watercolor paint. Acrylic for gel plate printing. So as your watercolor starts to dry, when you go and touch it to the next circle, you should start to get that layered ability, like, or the layerableness of it. So I want to do another one right here, but I want to add the blue now. So I'm going to start it with the pink. But let's load some of the turquoise into the brush. I'm going to save that for my cools. And I'm going to blend some of the pink. Oops, did you see what I just did? Just put it in there. Wrong one. Whatever. So I'm tying now some of that pink, right? So it can float in. Your paint has to be wet for it to wick into the blue. If your paint is dry, you're just building a layer, it won't bleed into it, okay? I do think watercolor is just kind of magic too, right? They are porcelain. Yeah, ceramic, right? I want to go in now as well and build some more detail by just layering on top of that dry color. I can start, right, to create these kind of loose rings. And the other thing is, like we've talked about too, right? These are student grade watercolor. They're not super expensive. So when you start playing around with different quality of watercolor, you will get different kind of results as well. That was the side. So I'm going to go in here now with full-on turquoise and build my next layer is going to be turquoise rings, but hopefully we can get some of this pigment to bleed in here too. So again, I'm not going to load my brush. Hello, Beatrice. Did I almost miss you? Or did you say you're leaving now? Thank you for joining me. I'm glad I looked up and saw your name there. I got in touch with Cruising Crop, yes, right? Because I want to see if I can't find a cruise for March or February of 2026, just a Caribbean one. I feel like we need more inexpensive Caribbean cruise, because it feels weird that I don't have anything booked for early next year. So I'm seeing if there's what I can find. So no guarantees, but maybe I will keep you informed. Okay, I'm going to go in now with a clean ring, but I'm going to float the Prussian in there. Float some Prussian. So do you see when I say you could do so many things with circles? And the other thing too, if you feel like it feels awkward with how you're holding your arm, there is no reason you can't turn your page around. Like turn your page. Don't try to kind of make your arm go wonky. This circle's big. Let's do a small one. Just do a small one here. I really want to build the depth down here, because this is where the darkest color is. And then let's throw some of that turquoise in there too. There's not a lot of contrast between those two. Between this turquoise is not really turquoisey. I feel like it's a darker blue. Like to me, a turquoise would have a little bit more green in it, right? So I'm going to just add another layer now. And I'm going to go back into my pink. And this is where I see the quality of the watercolor. This pink doesn't bloom or blossom very much. It's pretty flat. You don't have a lot of that pretty wicking. And it could just be the quality of the pigments, right? And some pigments are a little pricier pigment, and you get a little bit better results from them. But I still think this is fun. I want to pull that purple a little bit more, right? That's what I'm looking at, because the Caribbean one that I'm looking at is a little bit more on it's not as expensive, right? And I feel like that would be fun. So I'm working on it. I'll let you know how that goes. Let's throw, so we're just layering a little bit now, okay? Just layering some watercolor. But you see what I'm saying? This turquoise is almost the same as the indigo. And it will be a mixed media class too. That we're going to do some kind of like art journaling on that. I think would be fun, because we do a lot of scrapbooking, and I think maybe it could be distress ink based. And something else will be coming out at the beginning of the year that we can incorporate. One of the new things I'm working on. So that could be fun. So I am digging that, friends. That's fun, right? So what we could do now is just take your brush, and I would like to go in some of the blue. I'm not loading it with color, but I want to make some of that color bleed a little bit. So I'm going to just take it and work the existing color a little bit. Just add a little bit of interest. So I'm going to pull what's here in a little bit, and on the outside a bit. So see how it's kind of making that little halo? Not on all of them. Clean my brush. Let's go into the pinks and do that a little bit on some of the harder lined ones. So this is just clean water that I'm just creating that little bit of a halo. Really digging this. There. And now know when to step away. So there, I'm going to lift this so you guys can see. So we can totally art mark in this. You could just leave it, whatever you want to do, but I'll probably art mark. So how fun is that, right? Are they just kind of bled in? I can cheat. We do have a lot of fun. A lot of our friends here tonight have cruised with me. But I always have one in the beginning of the year, and I didn't book anything. And now I'm like, if I can get conference space and a good deal, I might do that. Okay, I'm not baking it like a cookie. It's just not super wet. What do you think, friends? The blue, I love what the blue did. The pink just kind of stayed where it is, so I'll wait for that to dry, and I'll probably go in with another layer with the pink. And I would like to really purple this up too, right? A little bit more purple in there. But I like that. I like it. So what else was I going to do? Where's my recipe? So, you know our zombie parrot eye? Let's do it in watercolor. Let's do concentric circles in watercolor. So I'm going to do this again. I think I'm going to mask this one though. Even though I said I wasn't going to, I think I'm going to mask this. I think I'm going to. Just so I can have clean edges. It's a zombie parrot eye. It does. I don't know what I was trying to make there. It is relaxing, right, Beth? That's what I feel like. I'm doing this. I'm just putting the tape on my shirt to pick up some lint so it's not as tacky. And then I'm going to create a little bit of a mask. And I am going to do concentric circles. So what do we want to do palette-wise for this? Do we want to use all the colors? What do you think? All the colors for this? Do a rainbow one? How about blue and orange and yellow? You like my zombie parrot eye. Well, we're gonna see what I'm gonna make from that one, right? Because maybe I can improve my zombie parrot eye. It does look like a zombie parrot. I did not lay that down very straight. No, let's try that again. Okay. So I want to do watercolor circles. Let's see how this goes when we do circles using watercolor instead of, let's start with orange. And I'm going to do it kind of right here. And I'm just going to deposit some orange. You want some white space in here. So when you're doing your circles, make sure that you still leave. I'm going to put some pink and orange now. You still leave a little white line, okay? They can touch a little bit. So I'm floating some orange in there. I love it so far. So we'll see where we go with this. I'm putting a little bit of that in there. Love it. I'm going to go yellow now. Touch it into that. Oh, look at that. I love that. That leaving that little open space in there. See that? So I'm going to do another one of those. And then don't make the lines completely touch. And I'm not loading my brush up. I'm just going to touch that. And then I'm letting it touch so that that can just float in there. What do I want to go to now? Maybe the pink? How about the pink? Is anybody playing along tonight? I never know, right? On when we do the Wednesdays are usually quieter. This one I might have touched the yellow. Oh, should I have done that? I'm going to not do it everywhere because I don't really love it. You know, this reminds me of, and you'll only understand this of your certain age. You know the thing you'd put in the middle of your 45s? You know, what was that thing called? What was the name of that? That you put in the middle of the 45, your records? That's what that reminds me of. And I just totally dated myself. Right? That little plastic thing that I would have put into the middle of my Donny Osmond record. And they called it Puppy Love on my friend Snoopy record player. Yeah, we like to watch. What was that show called? The Osmonds. Like, was there a name for that show that we watched? Was it on Saturday nights, or was it just a special? Because we did like the Osmonds. I had the dolls, right? I had the dolls. Okay, I'm gonna go in with some of the blue. Should we make purple? Yeah, let's go in. Why not? I'm gonna make a purple. With his purple socks. The Donnie and Marie show. But was it on every like weekly, or was it only a special? I loved that doll. What was her brother's name? The little guy. I'm going to go orange again. Jimmy. That's it, Connie. It was Jimmy. I felt bad, kind of bad for Jimmy. I don't think he got the props like his brother and sister did, right? Poor Jimmy. I'm going to do a thick orange one and then go into the blue. Jimmy. He was a little frickly dude, right? Did he have his own doll? I don't know if Jimmy got his own doll. A little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. I'm going to go orange. And then I'm going to hit it with the blue. Ooh, I like that. Don't mess with that. See where the brush got dry? You didn't care about you, only Donnie. It was only Donnie for Connie. I did. I love that. And I love my Sonny and Cher doll too. Sonny and Cher and the Osmonds. I remember watching those. And I think that was all on too at the same time as like Ripley's Believe It or Not. I loved Ripley's Believe It or Not, and That's Incredible. Do you guys remember That's Incredible? And Jack Palance, I'll never forget when because they would show some pretty gross stuff, that Jack Palance. And I remember that they did like under a microscope of cheese, so you could see the bacteria that grows in cheese. I remember Jack would do that kind of stuff. Or they would eat a live lobster and like they'd cut it open and he'd be eating the lobster, but it was still moving. There was some weird stuff that would happen on that show. I wonder if anybody remembers that Jack Palance. Gross. Oh, yes, David Cassidy. I remember Bobby Sherman. I do not. Jerry, that I don't know. Who's Bobby Sherman? What was that? Did he have a show or just a singer? And what did he sing? See, so this is getting a little crazy color-wise for me. But I don't want it to oops, I just did this again. I'm going to go again with orange around my blue. It's sort of like the never-ending gobstopper. But I'm going to dirty this up. So I'm going to add orange into my blue. So we're going to muddy this color up a bit, because I don't really want it to look like just rainbow, right? I don't really want, I would like to bring some earthiness in. And I'm wondering if, like with the palette I chose, if I'm just struggling a bit to do that, if that makes sense. Because everything is almost like a primary color. Let's pull some of that in though, so it's not just rainbow. Now I'm going in with my brush and I'm just getting in some of that white. What happens if we just take water and pull that around? What colors can we make? buckling. Because this is definitely not my color palette, like what I would normally paint. So we'll see. Let's try. What if we pull some purple up in here now? But this is why I like doing these. This whole series that we're doing is doing things that I would not normally do. But I also know I have to kind of let this dry because the colors are all wicking, and let's see where we get. Hi there. Looks like a lollipop. It looks like something. I don't know. So far, I love this. Love this one. I'm very excited about this one. I love the potential of this. But remember that we've done this where my palette is my palette, and this is all I'm using. And I'm finding I'm struggling a little bit not being able to use colors beyond what I chose. But I don't want to be a quitter. If this is what I said I'm using, this is what I want to use. I'm drying this so I can go on now on top, and we can art mark with the paint on a drier layer instead of adding wet on wet. Because I do like some of this. I'm like, I liked it at the beginning, but I find that the colors are, I don't know. But like I told you guys, I am totally okay with doing this and telling you when I don't really like the results I'm getting. And last week on Friday, I loved the results. I loved the art I was making. Today, I don't know, not so much. So now I feel like I don't want it all to look just like the kind of same business going on. So look it, I am doing another zombie parrot eye. Their zombie parrot eyes must be my jam tonight. I am doing another zombie parrot eye. It was inadvertent, but it happened, didn't it? Zombie parrot eye for the win tonight. No, it's still the same eye. Maybe this one can be a zombie elephant eye. I don't know, Nat, but it's not what I set out to do, but it's what I'm getting, right? So what's everybody doing tonight? What are you working on? Because I know some of you aren't painting. It's too hard to do, right? When in the middle of the week. So I'd love to know what else you're doing. Hi, Maria. I don't know if this is the one you wanted to catch. I'm creating some weird stuff tonight. But let's see what we can make from it, right? We'll see what we can make out of it. I am going to do in this big orange one, some kind of art mark. Let's change brushes. So I'm doing just some dashed lines through it. So remember when I told you before, like I'm going to have to lift and move it because I can't continue those lines on the angle. Here, let's move my craft mat. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. It reminds me of like fish swimming, like a school of fish art marks. Let me hold that up so you can see. See those? It's kind of fun, right? I loved the line work last week. Right now, what I love is I'm not loving what I'm making tonight, but I love the opportunity to make it be something that I'm excited about. I really like those. I feel like I'm going to do another row of them, maybe in here on that pink. Hopefully it'll show up, but I feel like it needs to be continued. I like that the movement this is creating in the circle. The movement this is creating. I don't think I'll do that whole pink. I will taper them off. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. That added some interest, right? And now I'm going to put, I think, some blue circles, maybe, in the middle of the zombie elephant eyeball, right here. And do some circles. Let's go in with a round brush. We could also, you know what? Let's take the end of a pencil. And I'm going to put that right into the watercolor. work? I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what we get. I like that. I like that. How about some lines like this on the purple? So we'll go back to this brush. Let's load up. And I'm going to do lines like this. So we need to, this is a little tougher, right? Because you are going to want to turn your page. So I should have started, because I don't want to drag my hand in that, right? So let's start. And do that. I am loving this. I will hold it up to you, right? I think the watercolor is just a little bit more forgiving than the acrylic, if that makes sense. It's just a little bit more forgiving than the, look at that. So we could get the same result with the acrylic. How fun is that? I like that. So what other shape could I do? Now, because I feel like it needs something around the outer edge, I kind of would like to continue the dashes. How about, I kind of want to continue the dashes. I'd like to make a muddy color though. So let's add some orange in that. I can dirty my palette because I'll end up. Oh, look at that. Kind of made an olive green. I'm digging that. I don't think I'm going to mess around with that. Who would have known? Who would have knew? Who would have known? The orange and the, I'll test it on something so you guys can see that color I just made. Right? I'm liking this too. It's just easier. Look at that green. I love that. So I'm going to start again, but maybe shorter lines. What do you think? Like, and really close together. And then I'll leave a space. Yes, because we'll do some dots in between them. So let's do that. I really like that green. So we'll see. Because remember, this is going to freak some of you out. I don't know. But I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to brush through these. Because I don't know if I like those. So there. And I'll do something else on that. But it's going to be like a lot of everything else that we've done is stepping away sometimes, right? So these ones weren't as dry. So I didn't get the same effect. But this is one of those ones I feel like I should walk away from it, leave that one, and revisit it later with some art marks. Like when I get in here with the white from where I can bring pigment back, right? With the Posca pens is going to be very cool. But this is very wet, so I need to flatten it out a bit. I have zero patience, so let's just lift that pigment. I love this. I love this. So I'm going to take my masking off, trying not to rip. Actually, I'm not, because you know what? I don't think I want any white space on here. So what do you think I should fill this outer yellow? Let's go in with yellow. Do I have any yellow left? I am just going to fill, I don't want white on here, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. So I'm just going to fill this outer edge, but I want my masked and maybe some of that green. I just don't want it to have any white on it. Here's a whole thing too. When I sat down tonight, I had ideas. But I really didn't. Question for scrapbooking: would you recommend only inks and watercolors or acrylics for the background? You could use anything you want. I will tell you, if I'm going to use acrylic, I like it on my gel plate because it's so much thinner. It's such a thinner layer that I don't have the bulk on my pages. Oh, I got a little tear. Remember, I forgot my trick about heating it. Who told me that? Are you here tonight? To heat the tape and it'll lift a little easier. Because it just makes the gum a little, the gum on the tape a little gluier, gummier. It does help. That was a great tip. That's this community, right? Community always teaching us stuff. I like this one. You like this zombie parrot eye better? Well, I don't want us to give up on the other zombie parrot eye. But do you think it's the translucency of this one? Why do you think? Let's talk about that. Why do you think you like this one better? We haven't art marked on the other one yet, have we? I'm kind of digging this. So this is what we have, right? Ooh, I totally just ripped that one. So we could color the centers of these with something. We have this one that we did. And this is a zombie parrot eye of what we speak, right? So definitely cleaner. This is definitely a lot looser, right? But we're not going to give up on this one. I feel like there's things that we could do. On here. So what happens if we go in with paint markers where we have a little bit more control than we did with the paintbrush, right? See, we can clean up then. Clean up some of our lines, right? And we'll be able to go in and do some art marking where we can make this maybe a little bit more appealing. So these are the Vicky Bouton paint markers, right? So we'll be able to go in and maybe control some of that, right? Zombie Parrot Eye for the win. Natalie wants me to send her this one because it's her favorite art that I've ever made. She just said that. Did you hear her? I hope I can get, I think there's pigment coming. But we can go in and add art marks on top. You know what I'm saying? Like things can be added that will make this a little bit more appealing. It's going in my book. I will add it in my book proudly. Zombie Parrot Eye. And I will try this technique again with different paintbrushes and possibly with more water, less water. But But there are things you can do that can start to tie that together, right? It does look like it's got a really bloodshot eye though, doesn't it? I just think it's worth trying some different things, right? We'll taper that dot down. We can go in with a stencil. Let's see, what do I have? Ooh. I'm gonna try this. Remember, it's just a piece of paper in our time. Sometimes it's a winner, sometimes it's not, but let's see what we can get by adding some white back in here. So I'm going to pounce with a makeup sponge. And this kind of text business going on. So I'm still going in our circular motion, right? Around all that pigment. There's a lot of pigment going on there. So let's see. Are you ready for the reveal? Look at that. Kind of digging that. And I'm going to do some of that down here too. Almost a little graffiti, right? What do you think? That really softens it up. Ooh, stuck on there. I love it. So I'm just bringing the white back up to the top, right? Bring the white back up to the top. Totally soften the look a little bit. Can layer less zombie and more artsy. Thank you, Serenity. Well, and like I said, this is one of those ones that I feel like as I keep playing with it, like I could get, I don't have a lot of makeup sponges, so I'm gonna put that in water. I could go back in there with acrylic again to soften my yellow, bring the color I want in there, back up to the top, right? I just feel like step away, look at your art again. The evolution of art, it really is, right? So when you look at that, I don't think the answer for that one was adding more color, right? I think the answer was bringing the white back up to the top, and there probably will be more layers. I will show you the progress. For sure some black is going to go in here, because we could, can I show you one more thing? I clean the paint off my stencils too. Not everybody does. I know that is just me. I like to keep my stencils nice and sharp, so I don't want that acrylic to start to layer on my stencils, especially one like this. But let me show you something. And then, hello Pamela, how are you? So for Canadians, there are quite a few shops that you can get your art journal online. Let's see. Will this ring? Look at. I think that it will. So I'm going to add some black on that. Okay. Just a second. I have my my stamp pad on the other side because I was working today, and I work on both sides of my desk. I feel like this one looks it's very graffiti to me. It's very graffiti. Right? It's kind of got a graffiti vibe. So I am going to ink this up, and I'm going in. I might have to go in with paint. I was hoping that the ink would work, but it might not on this acrylic. Okay, let's go in with paint. So I'm going to take some black, because I want a perfect circle outline for this one. So let's go in here, and I'm going to paint the edge of my cup with acrylic. Let's try that now. Love that. Love it. right? So whatever you want to go in and do, you can quiet all that down. What size? Let's see. Let me show you a couple that I have. I don't hate this now. I feel like it's very acrylic paint-esque, but I kind of like how this turned out. It's not my normal, it's quiet time, Vicky is focused. Yeah, not as talking as much, right? But I really love this now, I have to say. I didn't in the beginning because it was a little messier than what I would normally do, but I am really digging that. I probably find another ring to go in with a black right here. Like I need a smaller one. I need a lid. That would be a lid. Like I'll find a lid and put like another little ring in black in there, and then I'd leave that alone. Leave it alone, right? Because you could write a word on here. Do I have a black one? Or even in the white, or in that turquoise again. Do you know what I mean? Like you could write a word right in here. Or up top, like love. I love it! But I'm going to stop now. Because this is what I tend to do. I'll do too much. It's enough. Love it now. And the two, well, it's different, right? This one's not done. When this dries, I will go through and add some art marks. Or do I just leave it? Do I just leave it? Maybe I do. Because I do kind of dig the softness of this one, right? But these totally could be made into pie charts. Oh, so imagine if you had like a circle stamp that you could put on top of that in black. Like a little pie chart. What do I have? Anything? You get what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? That would be very cool. That you could stamp on top of if you wanted to, right? This one I am going to do more on. Like this one, even, you know how we did the dry brushing? That could be very cool on this too, couldn't it? Is going in and doing those lines, because I'm kind of digging that line, the line thing. Is that I could go in. My water's all filthy. Right? And then, or do I just do those dashes? On some of these. Right? I think that could be fun. Not on every single one. But I kind of like the going in with your watercolor instead of a pen. The softness of that, right? And just letting that dry. And then we could do some just lines, stars on some of these. Like come in like this. Just go through, do whatever you want. See, I like the lines. I don't like that one. So now what does the girl do? There. And then I can go in and do something else on it. Took most of the pigment away, right? And then I'll go through maybe with a pen on that one. It's a piece of paper. I do love this side, right? So whatever. That's it, friends, right? It's just, I love this one. This, and now I love this one. And I hated it at the beginning. Like I was like, okay, that's gross. But I know I'm going to go back in here with some more fluorescent. I'll put another layer probably on it. And I love this one. My bubble gums, my rubber balls. So I'll go back through. Like I said, piece of paper in your time. You don't love something, maybe I'll just paint this guy solid, right? Like I can just go in and make that a solid circle, and then I'll do something else on it because I really don't like that one. So we'll add some solids like that, and I'll go back through. It's new opportunity, right? New opportunity. When you go through and you mess some of them up. Well, let's just paint a solid in some of them and do something different. Maybe here too. And I'll do something different, because I don't like what I got in that one. And I'll do something different. But step away. You like the eyeball pages, or our concentric circles, right? Our concentric circles. This one I freaking love. I have to figure out what else I'm going to do on that one. But I don't know. I want to see what you guys are going to make. And I want to see if you made a mess, how you fixed it. Or did you just throw it away and do something else? I don't know. But I think that was fun. I don't think I'm done. Like, I feel like, I hope you enjoyed that. Because part of me is like, are you looking at this now? What the heck did she make? It kind of looks, it's kind of a mess. I don't know. There. That's crazy art right there. This one I'm digging. I really am loving this one. Really love that one. Love that one. I feel like this is, like, for me, a 9 out of 10 for effort. I love this one, the simplicity of that. I absolutely love this one. It brings me joy. This one needs some work, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to revive it. And this one turned out better than we thought it was going to, right? Because it was cock-a-poo-poo. It's okay to say it, right? When you first looked at it, you probably were looking going, oh, I don't know about that. So I would love to see what you guys make. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to give the video a thumbs up and to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any content I put up there. And please come and visit me at Vicki Boutin Creative Community on Facebook. It's a private group page, and show me what you're making. Show me what you're making, because I don't know. I can't wait. Like, you know, I set this up. So it's just, I wanted it so everybody could play, that we had a limited palette, limited things that we can use, and you got to make the best of it, because there's so many places for us to go from here. That's how I look at it. This is, we just open the door a crack. Then I'm going to kick it open later, right? And we're going to do some fun things. So I can't wait to share how I revived some of this stuff. But thank you for joining me. As always, you guys are the best company ever, and I can't wait to see what you make. And I'll see you on Friday for, I forget what Friday is. Squares, maybe? Squares. So we're going to do something with another shape. I think that's what Friday is. But we'll see you there. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And if you're watching this after the fact, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you later, guys. Bye.